ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Listen. You can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Wednesday afternoon to you, and yes, it is time for the McFarland Show for the next 2 hours as the sirens, you can't hear them, we can, go up and down the streets.
The familiar sound at this point.
I don't know if they're headed to the Titans facility or they're coming from the Titans facility or if the Titans facility has nothing to do with those sirens. But it feels like that kind of a week. A siren type of week, or sirens, plural. Darren and Justin here with you. Devlin is alongside. We're here at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio where you can get up and walk around and stretch, and we can sit comfortably apart from each other. If someone gets mad, they would really have to get up and jump pretty far across the room to get to the other one, and that's a nice feeling.
You would have to take the Will Smith walk all the way up just to make sure that you thought about what you were about to do.
That's right.
And then, commence.
And we appreciate that. 615-844-5600 is how you can get in touch with us. It has been quite the week when it comes to the Titans. Monday, we reacted for 2 hours about the beatdown in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We covered a whole lot of ground. We took a whole lot of calls. And then yesterday, kaboom. Late morning, we find out John Robinson has been shown the door. And as you can imagine, yesterday, a whole lot of phone calls, a whole lot of reaction, and a whole lot of us trying to figure out, decipher what went on. And, of course, today, Mike Vrabel was told to walk the plank. He was the one that was told to walk the media press conference plank.
He went and spoke to the media. When you say walk the plank,
I was to say, let me finish.
Okay.
That was because I had a lot of people going, what?
Including me. I was like, what happened?
No.
Do you know something I don't?
The press conference plank.
Okay.
Because Amy Adams Strunk was not in attendance. Ryan Coward was not in attendance. It was Mike Vrabel set to answer all the questions of what took place yesterday. And quite honestly, I thought it was the organization put him in a really, 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 really tough spot. Because Mike Vrabel's doing what Mike Vrabel does because that's what he's going to do. He's the head coach. And he's trying to say, well, we're just trying to worry about Jacksonville. We're just trying to play a game, which is all true. It is.
Sure.
Right? Then let him do his job and somebody else from the organization get up there and answer these damn questions. Okay? Because you're putting him in awkward spots where he has to really, really think before he speaks. Because ultimately, he's the head coach, and, yeah, he does have a job to do. Like, they're still trying to win a division and win football games, and they're preparing for a division opponent this week. And I just thought the Nashville media answered or asked a lot of pertinent questions.
Yeah.
And I thought it left him doing a lot of squirming at times, and I thought that was a little unfair by the organization to him.
That was going to happen anyway, no matter who they put up there. And I don't know. This is where, you know, Darren, you and I have done 4 billion press conferences and interviews with people, some of which are very comfortable talking to the media. They've been talking to the media for a long time. Others of which have never spoken to the media, probably ever. And thinking just from the Titans' perspective, I don't know a whole lot about Ryan Cowart there. I'm just guessing that he's never gotten up and spoken to 20, 30 reporters at the same time.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue either.
It's just a guess.
Justin, I've never met him, so I don't know.
Listen, so is today really the first day you want to run that man out there to speak to the media, given what has happened? I mean, I don't know,
well, let me ask
but
you
they've
this.
chosen not to.
Okay, so that's a really good point.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just from their perspective.
Why not Burke Nihill? Okay, we have had interaction with him. He is well-spoken. He can handle questions.
He can.
I don't know about a situation like this, but why not a guy like him where people are familiar with him? Because I'll give you an example to your point.
Sure. Yes, sir.
When they fired Jeff Fisher, who did they trot out there to the press conference? Do you remember?
Well, Jeff Fisher came out eventually and spoke, did he not? He was there speaking about that whole situation.
Who led the press conference?
The parting of ways. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
If memory serves me correct,
it's been a little while.
I believe it was Steve Underwood.
Okay.
Steve Underwood was not good in those settings at all, even though he was the family/team attorney for a very, very, very long time, and the president.
Team president, yes,
okay,
sir.
and he held a very high, important, prominent role with the family. More importantly,
to the media
family's business.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't very good at it.
Well, depending on what you were talking about, and that's the thing with this. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish your point here.
Well, I was just going to say he wasn't great in that setting. He really wasn't, in my opinion. So I don't have a clue like you whether Ryan Cowart. I thought there has to be, to your point, they would know better than us, right? They should know their own personnel.
Yeah.
To me, only because we've had dealings with him on the show, on this show, and I have on other shows. And so Burke Nihill has proven he can handle, a Q&A. He can handle a press conference. So why not put him out there?
Okay.
He is way up at the top, isn't he?
Oh, he is. Okay, but here's the thing, and I'm gonna go back to another organization, and that you accuse me of being connected to, which I am because it's of my childhood, and that's the Chicago Bears. When the Chicago Bears went through this same kind of situation, they brought out Ted Phillips. Ted Phillips is their Burke Nihill. He's their president of football, or not president of football. He's their team president. They are asking Ted Phillips football-related questions, and Mr. Phillips is going, listen, nobody wants to hear what I think about the reserve backup linebacker, okay? So, I wasn't involved with those decisions. Those are what, these other guys are here for. I'm not here to answer that. I'm here just to – so what it turned into, just to cut to the chase, what it turned into is, why are you here if you can't answer our questions about the on-the-field stuff that's been going on with this football team and the lack of receivers and the lack of offensive line help and the bad draft picks and who was responsible for what? If you can't talk about that stuff, then why are you here? And I think if you put Burke Nihill, the president of the Titans, up there, he gets caught in a similar situation because, let's be honest, his focus for the last probably year and a half to 2 years has been trying to get together this proposal for this $2 billion stadium.
You don't think he wasn't involved in this?
In the decision?
Yes.
I'm sure he had some
He's
input.
the team president.
Absolutely.
He's above the GM.
He is on the chain, but you know, like I do, Darren, there is football and then there's non-football. I'm sorry, the gentleman who was Don McLaughlin. Am I saying it correctly? If I go back far enough here, I would talk to Don. You have spoken to Don, I'm sure, dozens of times. Don was very quick to say, "Well, I run everything that has nothing to do with football. if it's not involving players and game operations, you can talk to me. But I do all the other stuff. There is or at least there was a very clear dividing line in that organization about
the team
football.
Right, but he wasn't the team president.
Well, no, you're right.
He oversaw tickets.
But he oftentimes played that role publicly, at least, because he would put him up there at times in situations where, because they didn't always have a team president for a little while. There was a gap there, and so when there was a gap, Don McLaughlin ended up being, in my mind, and you were there as well. You have your own memories. In my mind, they put Don in situations where the team president would have been there, but in all honesty, Don didn't have anything to do with football decisions. And I'm not sure how much Burke has anything to do with football decisions. And if Burke was here, I would venture to think he wouldn't say, I really don't have a whole lot to do with football decisions. So, again, having Burke up there, I think, leads us down a path where the media becomes frustrated because he cannot answer some of the questions that were given out today at this press conference.
There's got to be somebody more equipped, above the head coach that could stand there representing the organization and field questions about what took place. It was the story. It was a national story.
It is.
It was a massive local story. It's not like they didn't know that was going to be the case.
Sure.
They did it on a Tuesday, December 6th, when they had 5 more games to go, and they're in a division lead. They're going to make the playoffs unless something really bad happens. I don't even – could they lose all their games? And I guess they could lose them all.
Said yesterday there's a scenario where they can lose them all and still make it in.
It's not much. It's slim, but okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess if there's a possibility, then we'll leave it on the table. But they knew all this. So, again, as we talked about yesterday, Amy Adams Strunk. Has there been a whole lot of good that's happened since whether she was forced to or not, which she was. She stood up and said, I'm in charge. Since she's done that, have things been better? Way better. I've said it many times. Many times on Nashville airwaves. She's a better owner than her father. Whether she agrees with that, whether that makes her uncomfortable or not, I don't know. She is. But she probably needs to talk, and she doesn't talk.
She doesn't like to do that.
No,
Darren.
she doesn't.
She doesn't
I know.
like to talk.
Believe me, unless it's some team function where everything is canned questions and she knows exactly what's going to be floated her way underhand, no, she's not doing it. It's very clear.
She doesn't like to talk, and she doesn't have to. And, because no one's going to make her do it. So if she doesn't have to, it's just what it is. Now, should she? That's a different question. But she doesn't like to, and at this point, she doesn't have to.
Well, it was her decision, so that's the tricky part. You say she doesn't have to. Technically, yeah, she's not breaking any laws.
No.
Right? There's nothing that says she has to, but whenever she is running a billion-dollar company and a big change is made and it's coming from her, I guess people would like to hear from the person that was responsible for the big change or the big move.
Sure. I mean, I think both media and fans, just to be honest with you, would love to hear directly from Amy Adams, not just in relations to this, but just more often, period. Some some owners in the NFL only talk once a year or, twice a year or whatever, and everybody knows when it's going to be.
Right.
And, everybody gets to the facility, and the owner will sit there for 30 minutes and take questions, and everybody knows, listen, hit me now because I'm not coming back for another 6 months, okay? And everybody kind of knows what the deal is. She could do it that way. She has chosen not to.
Okay, so let me ask you something. The Predators are equipped that way, to your point. Okay, they have an ownership group that is really – Tom Cigaran was pretty good about it. David Freeman was pretty good. They have had people that would stand up that were in the ownership group and stand up and speak for the ownership group. But Herb Fritch and here for a good while, they haven't had that. No one's been talking on the ownership side. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
No, yes, sir.
But if you have that dynamic, okay, again, that's your choice, and that's fine, then you have to have a Sean Henry type. You have to have a Sean Henry that will get out there and do all the talking for the ownership group. Then fine. If Amy Adams Strunk doesn't want to talk,
and
which is very clear,
by the way, everybody's very clear about who Sean Henry is and who
he's the president and the CEO of the Nashville Predators,
and his authority about what it is that he says and how involved he is. It's very clear, is what I'm saying, about who Sean Henry is in the Predators organization.
And right when the flood happened, who did you talk to?
Sean Henry.
Who did you hear from?
Sean Henry.
Okay. Then
Even
you
to
have
this very moment,
then you have to get somebody like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to get some. That's fine. If she doesn't want to talk unless it's softball, underhand, canned questions at a Titans dinner, right? Season ticket holders dinner or luncheon, then fine. That's okay. Then you need to get somebody in place that can handle these situations. I thought it was incredibly unfair to stick Mike Vrabel out there to answer all these questions that were pertinent. And the media had every right to ask, and it put him in a really, really tough spot. We'll play some of it in a little bit. You'll see for yourself. But it just wasn't fair to him because he's doing what he's going to do. I mean, everybody knows it. I'm a head coach. I'm worried about Jacksonville. We got a division game. Look, man, we're trying to win a division. We're trying to get in the playoffs. I got to get this team ready. It's Wednesday. It's preparation. We're back out on the practice field or in the bubble, whatever the heck they're doing today. I got to worry about that crap. I can't worry about that stuff. Yeah, but Mike, that's what everybody wants. Nobody has spoken.
Yeah, well, Mike
the
knows
organization,
that, yeah.
Someone has to speak. You made a gigantic move. Then fine, Titans organization. If Amy Adams Strunk isn't going to talk, then get somebody in place. That's why I said Burke Nihill. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. To me, he came on this radio show. We've only been doing it 2.5 months. He spent 30 minutes with us.
Yeah.
So he seems more than equipped to do it. Maybe he's not, Justin. I don't know. But he seems like it to me.
Equipped to do it? Sure. Now, again, what is it? What are we talking about? It's fine if we're talking about things like the stadium or if we're talking about, the change in uniforms and logos and things like that. Yes. But this is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about what do you look for in an evaluation of a general manager? What was the thing that put this over the top? And if it's not Burke's decision, if it was Miss Amy's decision, and she's not there to speak for it, and she hasn't empowered him or somebody else to give that message, and here is the other part about it. If they don't think it's that important, then, this is where we are. Then we're going to hear from Coach. And Coach knows what this deal is. Coach been around this game a long time. Coach knows what's about to happen. He knows the kind of questions he was going to get before he went out there. He's very clear. He didn't act surprised or, I don't know why you would ask something like that. He knows. But, there's only so much he can do. And so that's where we are. And the organization, and again, Miss Amy doesn't come out and speak almost ever. The last time I saw Miss Amy at a podium that I can remember was the Jeffrey Simmons draft night. She came out and spoke because of what Jeffrey Simmons had been involved in before they drafted him. And she wanted to come out and speak to that to make sure that everybody knew that she had, approved this and she was on board with this because of the situations that, and I'm not trying to bring up old stuff, that happened.
Well, no,
what
it's
happened.
pertinent to this discussion.
That's what happened.
It also helped, though, Justin, that the draft was in our city.
It did.
And so the national stage was focused on our city. they were the
press
hosts.
conference, though,
They were the hosts.
That press conference, though, was about Big Jeff.
I
was
understand.
about the drafting of Jeffrey
but
Simmons.
It may have also played into her being nudged to, hey, it wouldn't be a bad idea since we are the host of this magnificent NFL draft that everybody's talking about in this city and beyond. Everybody's talking about what's going on in the city, the sites, and what's going on Broadway. It wouldn't hurt for you to make an appearance.
Yeah.
And she did. I'm just saying, if the draft was in Kansas City like it is this year, is she making an appearance?
She might, Darren, because of the severity of what was going on with Jeffrey Simmons at the time and the sensitivity of it. I think she really wanted to put her personal stamp of approval on the actions taking place there. That's my opinion. That's what I think. I mean, that may not be the case. You may be right. If the draft is in Kansas City, maybe she doesn't come out. You could be correct. But in that particular situation. But my main point with that was the last time I saw her out there at a podium, at a table. Mm-hmm. I spoke with Ms. Amy before the night before the AFC Championship game on television, but she was almost forced to talk to me because we were in a bar full of Titans fans. Yeah. And the wave of people kind of pushed her in my direction.
And you had a microphone.
I was live on television. So it was going to be very awkward if she turned her back on me. Yeah. She didn't. She spoke. It was very brief.
Yeah.
But she spoke and have a message to the fans and all that kind of great stuff, and that was it. She was very pleasant, very nice, not rude or nasty in any way, shape, or form. But comfortable? Not quite.
No. We'll come back. David Beauclair will join us. We'll talk and get his reaction about what took place yesterday, the reaction of today's press conference, and more concerning the Titans. We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033, or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. The package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lake Norman Buckeye. Bill, will Saban actually coach that 24 quarterback? At some point, he's got to hang it up. Nothing lasts forever. I want to repeat, Nick Saban is doing his favorite thing right now. He's not trying to get to a moment in life to where he can go sit on the beach.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Back here on the McFarland Show on this rainy, gray Wednesday afternoon, which has been the mood this whole week on the show and outside the show.
Yeah.
Okay? Darren and Justin here with you. We're here at the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. By the way, you can watch us live every day. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We now bring in David Beauclair. He's the publisher of All Things Titans on Fan Nation Network, which is on the SI.com channel. He now joins us. David, how we doing? Ruh-roh.
I don't see anybody on the line
I
here.
see David's picture up there if you're watching.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody in the queue.
Uh-oh.
The phone is dropped off here somewhere. We will hook up with David Beauclair here shortly, I'm sure.
One more time, David. You there?
I'm here, yeah.
All right, sorry about that.
David, can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, all right. You're surprised on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being floored, jaw dropping on the floor, 1 to 10, what was your surprise level late yesterday morning when you heard the news?
9.5. The timing of it is the big thing, right? In the middle of the season when you're in first place and things haven't gone great the last couple of weeks, but all in all, it's been a good season to this point. But you look at John Robinson's tenure here, and there's legitimate causes for concern, right? But I mean, outside of Christian Fulton, you've gotten next to nothing out of the 20 and 21 draft classes. Julio Jones didn't work out the way you wanted. Jadeveon Clowney didn't work out the way you wanted. You're consistently going through right tackles, and it seems like you're getting worse each year at that spot, right? I mean, there are issues there, but John Robinson's record is such that he probably, I think any reasonable person would say, he probably deserves the opportunity to fix it, right? I mean, this is a guy who's never had a losing record as a GM, a guy whose teams have won 2 straight division championships. They're going to make it 3 in a row. They've been to the playoffs 4 times in 5 years. It's going to be 5 out of 6 years. And there's been big successes, too, in terms of, like a Jeffrey Simmons or the trade for Ryan Tannehill or finding undrafted free agents like Pierre Tart. I mean, there's such extremes in his tenure here that it's but on balance things have worked out much better than not. So I think everybody would have said, yeah, well, he's going to get the opportunity to fix this, which is why I think the timing of it, meaning 2 days after A.J. Brown doing to the Titans what A.J. Brown used to do for the Titans, I don't think that is coincidental at all, and I think it is consistent with what we've seen from Amy Adams Strunk in her time as controlling owner. Because you go back to 2015, the first season after she took over the reins of this franchise, and it was Week 8. They go down to Houston, which, oh, by the way, is Amy Adams Strunk's hometown, and they get beat 20-6 by the Texans. Quarterback Zach Mettenberger is sacked, I think, 7 times that day. He got hit 16 times. I mean, it was a terrible, terrible performance. And the next day, Ken Wisenhunt gets fired. Then you go to the 2016 season. They go back to Houston again, and they have another embarrassment down there when they lose a game 27-20 because they give up a long punt return for a touchdown late in the game. And this was after they had already had a punt blocked, and after they early in the second quarter, they had they held the Texans on 4th and 23, forced them to punt, but then the Titans had 12 men on the field, which gave the Texans 5 yards and allowed them to kick a field goal. And the next day, word comes down from on high that Mike Mularkey needs to fire special teams coach Bobby April. And as I recall, Mularkey and April were really good friends, and that was a real personal and professional dilemma for Mularkey. But he did what he was told, and and fired his guy. But I think what it shows is, Amy Adams Strunk does not like to be embarrassed, and I think she probably felt a measure of embarrassment about what A.J. Brown was able to do to the Titans in a game where they got blown out Sunday, and somebody had to pay in the way that Ken Wisenhunt and Bobby April have, each paid back a few years back here.
David, Amy Adams Strunk gave both Mike Vrabel and John Robinson contract extensions in February. So everything was hunky-dory in February. Okay?
Right.
And then free agency came. Then the draft came. Then there was, I think, a trade that happened. I think they traded with Philadelphia. I can't remember who it was for or who they gave away. But a trade happened. This season, they've been in control of a lousy division all year. So the point of this is something's happened. Like she didn't just wake up Tuesday morning and say, you know what, I just think this thing has run its course with the general manager. There had to be, as we say, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back. Everybody's got their own theories or opinions. What do you think truly happened for that decision to come down yesterday?
Well, I think what you're getting at is, was there some sort of power struggle between Mike Vrabel and John Robinson? And I am convinced that at times over the last 2 years, whatever, that Mike Vrabel went into John Robinson's office and banged on the desk and said, you've got to do better for me. When you spend money on a free agent, it's got to be better than Vic Beasley. And when you use a first round draft pick, it's got to be better than Isaiah Wilson and so on and so forth. And those kinds of moments, I'm sure, happen between every coach and GM. And the question is, how often and how heated do they get, and how personally do guys take those things? But then the bigger question is, does that discussion, or in this case, did that discussion ever spill into the owner's office where, at some point she started thinking, sooner or later, I'm going to have to choose between one of these guys? I don't have any sense that happened, but I will say, everybody in the organization likes to refer to her as Miss Amy, like she's this sweet little team mom or something, right? But I think that really does her a disservice. I mean, this is an accomplished businesswoman who didn't, it's not like she's just playing around with this team, and she's her father's daughter, right? I mean, you look at Bud Adams' history in through the 70s and the 80s, in particular with this team. I mean, he went through coaches and GMs at light speed at times, and this is a guy who fired Bum Phillips after a year or so after he had his team in the conference championship game in back-to-back years, and was as popular as a coach as you could. I mean, I think at times emotion really does get to her, and you see this sort of anger and this sort of whatever you want to call it come up, and she's like, I'm not going to stand by and let this go. People need to know that this is not acceptable, and for whatever reason, and I assume the A.J. Brown thing was sort of, it tipped the scale and in her mind and said, all right, I got to get somebody else in here. I just don't trust him to do this job anymore.
I don't know if you heard the first segment or not, but today's presser I thought was incredibly unfair to Mike Vrabel. I know he didn't answer a whole lot of stuff, and people wanted answers, and they deserve answers because the organization made a huge decision. Someone needed to speak for the organization. I just thought he was put in a really, really bad spot. What did you make of today's presser?
Yeah, he was the good soldier today, and I thought the most interesting thing to me was that he tried a little bit, kind of subtly, but he never put his foot down and said, that's enough of these questions. I'm not answering any more of these. If you want to talk about the Jaguars, let's talk about the Jaguars. I mean, he knew what he was going out there to do. He stood there and he took the bullets. And again, this is, I agree 100%. Amy Adams Strunk makes a decision of this magnitude, particularly in the middle of a season and whatnot. She needs to get in front of the media and speak to the fans and address this and talk about her thinking, talk about her goals, talk about what she wants. But this is consistent with her in this role as controlling owner. The one or two times that she's been in front of the media, it is clear she is uncomfortable there. She doesn't like it, and I don't get the sense that anybody higher up in the organization who has her ear to any degree is pushing her to do that. So you're left with a fairly innocuous statement that they issued yesterday. You're left with Mike Vrabel doing his dance up there today, and I'm guessing that's all there's going to be. She'll take the PR hit for not answering the questions and ride this out into the off season and issue a press release when she hires a new GM in January.
Speaking of the new GM, who is that going to be, you think, David?
It's a really good question. Ryan Cowden is obviously the interim guy right now, and Ryan Cowden is a guy who clearly wants to be a general manager in the National Football League. I mean, earlier this year he interviewed with the Giants and the Steelers when they were looking for GMs. Last year he interviewed with Washington. In 2018 he interviewed with Carolina. I mean, he's trying to get one of these jobs, so that he's not just going to be sitting there keeping the chair warm for somebody. He's going to do everything he can over the next 2 months or whatever, 2 months, whatever it is, to try and convince people that he deserves to have this job on a full-time basis. The question is, Ryan Cowden was one of the first personnel people that John Robinson hired when he was named general manager in 2016. He's been an important voice in a lot of the personnel decisions over the last 7 years. So is he sort of tainted in Amy Adams Strunk's mind by the fact that he was part of so many of these decisions that now she was so unhappy with that she's going to fire John Robinson, and does she think that we just need to bring a fresh set of eyes in from the outside, or does she think this guy has done good work for this franchise. I'll give him his shot. I don't know enough about her thinking to speculate on that. But if I had to, I guess if I had to guess, I would think she's gonna go outside and try to find some fresh blood and a fresh take on this thing. And I based that kind of on the statement issued yesterday where she said that it's going to be a comprehensive search for a new GM. So, I mean, there's plenty of candidates out there. And an interesting aspect, the Titans, at last count, I believe they were one of 5 NFL teams that has never had a minority as head coach or general manager. And you wonder if there might be some pressure from the league office to say, hey, you might really want to consider a minority candidate this time around.
Can you speak at all about something that was said during the press conference today when they talked about final decisions? And I think even at one point, Coach Vrabel spoke to the fact that they would consult ownership if they could not come to a conclusion about personnel decisions. And I'm just like, ownership? The ownership is going to make decisions about players and things of this nature. I mean, who's got the final say here at this point, David? You think they're in the room? Is it really Coach Vrabel and everybody else here at this point?
No, it's Mike Vrabel has always been sort of vague about those dealings, other than to say, it's collaborative and whatnot. And my take on that was he was saying if it absolutely comes down to a tiebreaker, then they go to ownership and ownership will say what they want to do. I don't think that happened very often, if at all, in the last few years with Vrabel and John Robinson, and I doubt it will happen going forward. Like Mike Vrabel, to me, I do not believe that Mike Vrabel is one of these head coaches who's going to be saying, I want to be the de facto general manager. I want to be the person making all the personnel decisions and what have you. Because when they sign players like after a Tuesday tryout or something like that, and you ask him on Wednesday, well, you signed this guy. What did you like about him? And he doesn't really have much to say. It's sort of like, well, he showed what we wanted to see in the workout, and he's not one of these guys who keeps a mental Rolodex, with details about all these players around the league and whatnot. My sense of how the operation is that he, and how it will be, he went to John Robinson, will go to Ryan Cowden and say, you know what, we're really short on cornerbacks right now. I need a cornerback, and it's got to be someone who can play on the outside, who's got some decent speed, whatever. Go get me one of these guys, and the GM will say, well, we've got these three. We're going to bring them in. You want to watch the workout? Sure, I'll watch the workout and see how it goes. And I do think that I really don't think that Mike Vrabel feels like he hasn't had enough say on personnel matters, or that he feels like he should be the single voice in doing all that. I just don't get that vibe from him at all.
Just very quickly here, David, and this is not going to be a quick answer, but I'm going to ask for one anyway. Which one did John Robinson in more, the free agency decisions or the draft decisions?
That's a great question. I would probably say the free agency decisions, just because of the money that you spend there and the salary cap ramifications for it. You're paying Julio Jones dead money this year. You're paying Vic Beasley, I think, still some dead money, and so on and so forth. That creates problems for you. The Isaiah Wilson thing was terrible, but ultimately it didn't cost you a ton of money. So I think probably the free agency, although, I guess having said that, I did say Danny Adams-Strunk doesn't like being embarrassed, right? And Isaiah Wilson was an embarrassment on a number of fronts for this franchise in such a short time. It's I just think it's mostly the way things played out Sunday in Philadelphia. Like I say, I just can't believe the timing is coincidental to that.
I would think, just off the top of my head, what is it? Is Jeffrey Simmons the only first-round hit so far, and it's only a hit if they re-sign him?
Jack Conklin was his first in 2016, and that one certainly worked out really well. Rashaan Evans wasn't a franchise guy, but he was a guy who started and made plays for you.
And he's still starting just now for the Titans.
Yeah, you can say that was a successful pick too, and it's like I said, that just look at the difference between Jeffrey Simmons and Isaiah Wilson, first round pick in 2019 versus first round pick in 2020, and the extreme that to which one succeeded and one failed, and that is sort of the epitome of John Robinson's time in charge of this franchise. It's there was very little average about it, right? It was either just super great or super bad.
Well, even if you're going to view Jack Conklin as a success, then it's a huge failure that you didn't pick up his fifth-year option and he walked.
Yeah.
As the G, right? Then that's just a horrible decision if you're going to view him as a success.
Yeah, and I mean, how many of his draft picks have gotten second contracts? And that's what's really interesting, right?
5.
Jeffrey Simmons is going to get one, but you couldn't get AJ Brown done. It's Byard, it's Derrick Henry, Jayon Brown got 1 year last year, comes to mind immediately. But there's not many that for even when he's done well, and Amani Hooker now has gotten one this year,
and Harold Landry,
and Harold Landry, obviously, yeah, that's right. So there's some, but it's not it's not been even when he's done well in the draft, it hasn't been the foundation upon which this team has been able to build long-term success.
Yep. David, good stuff. Really appreciate the visit. Thanks for doing this. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure, boys. Take care.
David Beauclair does it all. SI.com. He's been covering the Titans in this market for a very long time.
And we could have talked baseball with him. We just didn't have time. Big baseball fan as well.
Yep, no doubt. We'll continue the McFarland Show on the other side. 615-844-5600. Phone lines wide open the rest of the hour. We'll be back.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscom.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Commitmas!
It's Bill King Commitmas 22 December. It's a two-day event, December 13th and the 14th. The night before, that Tuesday night, the 13th, will be in the Bill King Suite. You can come. You're invited. You don't need a ticket. It doesn't cost you anything. If you need a room at Commitmas at the Omni, we can get you a link for a special rate as well. The next morning, we'll be at Bar Lines, 6 until 11, right there in the Omni. Lobby area to your left. We'll feed you breakfast. That's also on the house. Go to the WNSR.com site, and you'll see the Commitments 22 logo on the homepage or my show page. Click the logo. That'll take you to that special link. You're going to love it. Bill King Show Commitments 2022, December 14th on WNSR.
Slim's Tender Mac Bowls are back. We start with a 3-cheese blend to make our delicious mac and top it with chopped hand-breaded tenders and Colby Jack cheese. Try the Tender Mac Bowl meal or the Buffalo Tender Mac Bowl meal, both served with Texas toast and a medium drink. But hurry, they're only around for a limited time. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Your exclusive national sports radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be cloudy with showers and perhaps a thunderstorm, the high 68. Mostly cloudy with showers likely tonight, low 54. Clouds and showers Thursday, the high 66. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren and Justin here with you. Strike and Spare Family Fun Center Studios, 615-844-5600. Let's go up to Portland. Adam is standing by. Adam, what's up?
Hey, Darren and Justin. So I've been hearing everybody's, I guess, laundry list of reasons why they think he was fired, and it's just kind of a resume of failure. He did have a lot of positive things happen here. I was a suffering Titans fan for 7 or 8 straight years. You say words like Locker and Mettenberger, and you start having these crazy flashbacks and bad dreams, and that's nothing like that anymore. What I will say is the weird thing about J-Rob is that he seemed to draft weird to me. He would draft dudes that weren't ready. Isaiah Wilson, whether he turned out to be a troublemaker or not, was not ready when we drafted him, but we needed a tackle. Instead of trading assets and potentially getting a tackle that's ready, or Caleb Farley, a lot of people passed on Caleb Farley, but he wasn't ready, and we knew that. That's what I have a problem with, is for every Jeffrey Simmons that you get, you had 3 of them that were Dylan Radins, project potential players that could work, couldn't work, and that's a big failure, I think, on his part.
Yeah, I think when you look at things like that. Like when did they take their current Malik Willis? Was he third or fourth round?
He was third round.
Okay, I will say third round. Still, I'd probably like to even slide it to like fourth round. But to what Adam's talking about, is guys like that, like when you know something's happened that's made them slide down the board because of, injuries or, medical reports, or they're immature, they're not ready, or all the stuff you try to find out from when the season ends through the combine and private workouts and all that good stuff leading up to the draft. You can't draft those guys. Look at all the guys he named.
Yeah.
Those are first-round picks.
Well,
It's Dylan Radin's second-round pick. It's like you can't do that.
What I call them is clearance rack guys. And when I say that, this is what I mean. When you get stuff from the clearance rack at a department store or something was full price at one point. Full price. Now they've slashed it for whatever the reason. Either it's damaged or it's the wrong size and they got too much of it, or it's last season.
Or
but
people
they've slashed
combed over it for a good while and didn't buy it.
And they've slashed it. So all the guys that you're talking about, most of them anyway, I can't say all of them, but most of the guys you're talking about had much higher draft grades at one point and then have fallen through the draft. There was legit talk from legit people that Malik Willis was a first-round draft pick quarterback. He didn't go in the first round. He went in the third round.
There was a time when he was projected to be the first quarterback taken.
Yeah. And he went in the third round. Now, some people will question, well, what do we know that everybody else doesn't about Malik Willis? Why did he slide this far? But it's the upside. It's drafting for the upside at a lower premium there so you can try to get what's called value. Looking for value. We want top 10 value out of low picks. That was the goal. He did it all the time. He never just took the ready, steady, plug-and-play guy. It was always off the clearance rack trying to make something work.
I think what bothered me about the Caleb Farley pick is I said that whole offseason, John Robinson, you cannot miss on this first-round pick. Like, you can't. And I know you're going to have misses as a GM. It's about hits and misses. You just need more hits than misses. And quite frankly, you need some really big hits, right? Mm-hmm. That helps cover up some of the misses. But when you're on the heels of Isaiah Wilson, which was a disaster of a pick. I mean, a disaster. A guy that literally touched the field one time in a kneel-down situation. And that was it. And then the only other time we talked about him is he was caught doing burnouts on Broadway. And it was like, that was it. And then he wanted to, pursue his music career. And okay. Well, it was an unbelievably bad pick. And when you listen to Mike Vrabel, when he would be asked over and over. And by the way, if you want to know, in my opinion, when if Vrabel and Robinson got sideways, it probably started with the Isaiah Wilson pick. Because he probably gave him a side stare every single week. Like, I got to keep fielding questions every week about this guy you drafted that sucks. And he's not good enough to be in the NFL. He's certainly not good enough to be drafted in the first round. And I have no intentions of playing him anytime soon or if ever. Thank you for drafting him and making me ask or answer these questions about him every week. Because if you listen to Mike Vrabel when he would talk about Isaiah Wilson, you always could tell when he, it was very short, it was very brief, and that was the telltale sign. He didn't have anything good to say about Isaiah Wilson.
Frustrated with him.
Yeah.
Just completely
Nothing.
frustrated.
He didn't have anything good to say about him. So my guess is they probably started getting sideways there because Mike Vrabel was really ticked that he drafted him and had to keep asking or answering questions about a guy that he thought was not good enough to be in the NFL, and they took him in the first round.
Well, it's hard to know. Like, I don't know. We don't know, unless you do, what Mike Vrabel's opinion of Isaiah Wilson was before the draft.
Don't know.
So as far as, listen, he could have thought that Isaiah Wilson was going to be Anthony Munoz. I mean, for all we know, and I have no idea. Maybe he did. I doubt it. But maybe he thought when he saw Isaiah Wilson, he thought that's Walter Jones right there.
No, the scouting report said that.
You know, listen, I mean, but we don't know. We don't know. Those conversations that I had in public, we have no idea. We'll find out 15 years from now in a book somewhere what he really thought of Isaiah Wilson before the draft. But this is how we end up here.
All right, let's step away quickly, take our final break, come back, wrap up the first hour next.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text STAPLE to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text STAPLE to 321-321. That's STAPLE to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
If you need a staycation or planning a trip to Music City, stay at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Voted the best boutique hotel in Music City by the Nashville scene. Bento Living is located on the edge of bustling downtown. And if you're looking for somewhere to host your holiday party, whether it's an intimate gathering or a corporate celebration, they have unique spaces to fit your holiday needs. Visit bentochestnuthill.com for more information and reservations. WNSR Nashville Sports Radio would like to take this time to say congratulations to Greg Poe. Greg is a member of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. Greg Poe has been a standard and staple of Nashville sports media. Congratulations to Greg Poe and the rest of the 2023 class of the Tennessee Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. From your friends and family at WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Today on the practice field for the Titans, no sign of Traylon Burks. Probably not a good sign for him this week. Danico Autry, nowhere to be found. Christian Fulton, nowhere to be found. David Long Jr., nowhere to be found. Racey McMath practiced after, remember, he had his 24-day window to return from IR open. So Racey McMath back in the mix. I mean, look. If Racey McMath plays, okay, great. But, I mean, what's Racey McMath really going to change with this offense?
I mean,
that's been dreadful all season. Is like he the savior, Racey McMath?
No, but, you know.
I mean, I know it's a body.
Are they asking him to be the savior?
No.
Okay.
If they are, that's big problems.
It's one thing, to ask if he's going to be the savior, but as long as they're not asking him to be the savior, then, they're going to continue to lean on the guys they have left. And left is the key word because this is not the squad they were hoping to have there. So they're going to lean on Westbrook-Akina. They're going to lean on Robert Woods and just do what they do and lean on that running game. What they really want more than anything else is to find a way to get Derrick Henry some room and find a scheme that works so they can run the football again. And if they can do that, things tend to come together. The formula still works if they can get the formula going. And so far, they have not been able to do that the last 2 games at all.
If they're asking Racey McMath to be the savior, I'm sure even Racey went, huh? Really? Are you talking to me?
Me? I mean,
is there somebody behind me?
We'll go out here and do it. I mean, we're going to go out here and try. Come up there, throw me the ball.
Savior? Me?
He'll go out there and do what he can.
At this point, Robert Woods would be doing the same thing. Who, me?
I mean,
Robert Woods had 1 catch on Sunday.
It's
Westbrook-Akini, 1 catch. That's it.
It's pretty bad. I don't think anybody's denying it. That's why there's, minus GM at this point in the building.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. You can't, it is what it is. So, they've made the correction, and, that's it.
We'll play a little bit of Mike Vrabel's press conference next to kick off the second hour.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Alexis Christoforous. A new report shows hate crimes soared in Los Angeles County. ABC's Alex Stone is in L.A.
Looking at law enforcement data from 2021, Los Angeles County is reporting hate crimes in the county grew 23% to a level not seen in nearly 2 decades. Data finding black victims being the most frequent targets of hate crimes, even though blacks make up only 9% of L.A. County's population. Anti-Asian hate crimes reached their highest level ever in 2021, along with anti-immigrant hate crimes.
Peru's President Pedro Castillo, who was facing impeachment, declared a decree trying to dissolve the nation's Congress. Today, lawmakers rejected the attempt and voted to replace him. 81 years ago, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, killing over 2,400 personnel, vaulting the U.S. into World War II. Today, a ceremony to honor the victims. This is ABC News.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey, the kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
Craftsman Days at Lowe's are going on now. Get limited time savings across the store like $100 off a V20 6-tool combo kit. Plus, enter the Craftsman Days Ultimate Garage Sweepstakes for a chance to win Craftsman products valued at over $10,000. Learn more at Lowe's.com/Ultimate Garage. Offer valid through 12/31 while supplies last. No purchase necessary. Ends 12/31. Residents of 50 USDC, 18 or older, and age of majority, and have a Lowe's.com account. Void where prohibited. See rules at Lowe's.com/Ultimate Garage for entry instructions, odd prices, etc. Sponsor Lowe's.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Give the gift of play with the team at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. Stop in and stock up on a huge selection of new and gently used gear and equipment. Maybe you need some cash for the holidays. If you have too many bikes, inline skates, hockey, or other sports gear that you don't use anymore or it doesn't fit, get cash on the spot for your unused gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. They have the trained staff to help you sell your gear and help you find the perfect gift for the holidays, like a new baseball bat, lacrosse stick, yoga and workout gear, or equipment for a home gym. Or maybe you're like me and you love perusing golf clubs. Go check out what they have in their used inventory. I'm always in the Hendersonville store checking out their used golf clubs. So get cash for your holiday gifts when you sell your gear at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. And make sure to tell them Zach from Nashville Sports Radio sent you. That's Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty there.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
So a couple hours before our show today, the Titans decided to trot out head coach Mike Vrabel. Now, he normally speaks to the media on Wednesdays. By the way, welcome into hour number 2. Darren and Justin here with you on the McFarland Show. Devlin is alongside. Here in our Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. We're also on camera. You can watch us Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. But he trotted out there, and we're not going to play the whole thing. We're going to just play a little bit of kind of the pulse, let you kind of get a feel of how today's presser went with head coach Mike Vrabel and the media.
For giving me the opportunity to lead this football team on the field, to coach it each and every day. And with that, obviously, change is never easy. But we realize that we all have a job to do. That job is evaluated each and every day. I told the team this. I met with all the staff, and that, we have a personal relationship with John, everybody here in some capacity. And so our personal feelings aren't what's important. What's important is that we respect and understand the decision, and that we, move forward aligned and do everything that we can to prepare our players and be great for them as we go out against the Jaguars at home with a division team.
Mike, to follow that up, are you going to have more control in personnel decisions moving forward?
Ryan Cowden and I will, continue to communicate in that process as we get down the stretch of trying to figure out the active roster, the players that are looking to return from injury. We've made a couple moves here. It's late in the season, so it's usually some guys from somebody's practice squad. So that process isn't going to change.
Where's Amy, Mike, and why on the heels of such a massive move would she not come to talk about it?
Well, I think let me just say that we all have tremendous support from Amy, from Kenneth, from Barkley, the infrastructure that they've put in place here with the facilities and the people. I'm confident that we have their full support, and to do our job and to move forward. Amy made a decision and made a statement. So all I can say is thanks for her support as we come to work each and every day.
You had mentioned moving forward, fully aligned. You had mentioned moving forward, fully aligned. Was there a degree where you guys weren't aligned?
No. I mean, I just, I think I want to be very conscious of that, with every department and every person in this building, whether it be the football team, the equipment staff, the coaching staff, the personnel side. I'm just very conscious of that, and want to be respectful of anyone's personal feelings. Is the time that John spent here. That's all my focus is, and just making sure that those are understood, and but also respect the decision, and make sure that we're doing our jobs better today than we did yesterday for the players.
So as far as you and John in the
John and I have a great relationship. I spoke with him at length last night, and thanked him. Thanked him for the opportunity, like I said, to coach this football team and to lead this football team. I asked him if there was anything that he wanted me to share with the players, which I did, because the timing of it, I know that, there was things that he wanted to thank the players, for their efforts, and he saw them each and every day. He signed them, he drafted them, and thanked them for what they, went through, and he sees the injury report the same as I do, and he knows that, they go through a lot, and so he wanted to thank them, and I did that.
How much did the way the game went down in Philadelphia Sunday, did that have any impact at all on the timing of this decision?
I know that Amy informed me of the decision, and I can't speak to the timing of it. I can't speak to the decision of it. So I'm sorry I can't help you.
I think those are things that Amy could speak to, which lends again to the question as to where's Amy right now?
Well, I can't, I'm not going to speak to her whereabouts. I think that I can only express the support that she's given us, given me as the head coach, and the communications that we've had since this decision.
Mike, what do you think the message that is being sent here from Amy to you all, but also to the players right now?
I think the message is the same as it's always been. Is we're charged to win, we're here to win championships. That we all have a job to do. That we're held to a high standard, and that we're evaluated each and every day on that job. And that's the same thing I told the football team and the players this morning.
She said that the roster construction was one of the major reasons. Were there people drafted and signed here who you did not want?
No, again, John and I have and had a great relationship. He, included. I appreciate how he included the coaching staff in the evaluation process. Ultimately, I reported to John. John was the general manager. We communicated each and every day. Our focus was on the roster as it stands today, the guys that we have. The players that we're moving forward with to get ready for Jacksonville.
Do you feel like that roster construction was as much yours as his, or almost?
I think that we're all involved. Everybody here in this building, is responsible to do everything that we can to help the players and make sure that I'm doing my job to prepare them and make sure that the message is clear, the keys to victory each and every week, and how we need to play to win the football game.
Do you feel like you had enough involvement in that construction?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel like you had enough involvement in the construction of this roster right now?
My focus is clearly on the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is like, what do we need to do? Who's going to be available to look back and to reflect? My job was to do everything and to support the personnel staff wherever I could. To make sure I coordinated the coaching staff and ultimately get the players prepared. That goes on this week. That this is, again, the timing and the change is never easy. We recognize that. We're looking forward to it. The players had a unbelievable attitude. They're looking forward to getting back into football, after having lost. And, we try to explain to them that, we started the season 0-2. We won 7 of the next 9 games. We lost the 2 losses were against the teams that played in the AFC Championship game. After 9 quarters, we lost 2 games by 7 points, and we went on the road and got beat by a better team. And so I want to try to keep things in perspective. I've asked them to do the same thing and understand where we are and the opportunity that lies in front of us.
You just look back there. Doesn't this is a massive move for 20-minute conversation off of the Jaguars? That's a fair question. Did you have enough input into the?
My message is to the players. That's my focus each and every day. Is about them and how I teach them and the message that I try to convey to them and whatever happened or whatever was in place. The only thing that matters now is what we do going forward.
Mike, was this move a surprise to you?
Again, change is never easy. I'm focused on where we're at right now. I think that there's surprises that happen each and every day. I respect the decision that Amy and the ownership group made. I appreciate their support as we move forward to play the Jaguars.
How much input will you have on who they name as the new GM?
I think we'll have, I would imagine, I don't know, we'll have conversations. I'll support them and help in the process however I can. We haven't had those conversations. So my focus, again, is now on today and where we're at. I will absolutely fill whatever role or help in any way when the time comes.
What role did you have? What, if any, role did you have in the evaluation of John in your eyes?
What role did I play in?
I mean, did you assist them at all in the evaluation? You evaluate the entire roster here and the team. Did you help at all in their evaluation of John?
No, I was informed of the decision, and not this wasn't a decision that was that included me. It was a decision that was made, and I was informed of that decision.
Who has final say on the roster between you and Ryan?
I mean, I think ultimately Amy does. I would say that we're just trying right now to work forward to see where we're at with the guys to finish the season. We've signed guys, we've brought guys in, we've signed John Reed, Terrell Basham before that. I don't see that as being something that's even, any sort of issue. We're trying to find some guys out there that may help us going down the stretch.
So there's a good portion of today's Mike Vrabel press conference that took place, like I said, a couple hours before we went on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he was put in a really, really tough spot. Things that I know he was being very, very careful how he worded some answers.
Yeah.
Would have liked to have seen them trot somebody out there that could speak a little bit more freely. I don't blame Mike Vrabel for the way he handled today's press conference, because quite honestly, there's just a lot of stuff that, he doesn't need to be. I don't think he does need to be saying, unless he's ready to become the new general manager as well. Now then it's fair game, right? It's like Bill O'Brien in Houston.
Yeah.
When he was the general manager and the head coach, then you can feel all those questions are fair, and you need to answer them. You also wear that tag as GM. But the last time I checked, I don't think they've named him the next GM. Ryan Cowden is named the interim GM right now.
That's correct.
Who's been with the organization for, I think, 7 years, I believe.
I believe you're correct.
And a guy, as David Beauclair pointed out to us in the first hour, a guy that's clearly has aspirations to be the guy. Clearly has aspirations to be a general manager in the league. Now, they've known him for a while. He's been behind the scenes working every day with them. I have to believe, Justin, he has to have the inside track to be the guy. Arthur Smith did the same thing, right? Spent a whole lot of years behind the scenes. And then after 9 years, he finally got to become the OC?
He worked his way up.
After Matt LaFleur took the Green Bay job?
And listen, I'm trying to satisfy my own curiosity. I wanted to know exactly who Mr. Cowden actually is.
Yeah.
So we've got his bio here, and I know people are busy. They don't have time. And so we're here to provide a little bit of a public service for you, letting you know exactly who the interim GM of the Tennessee Titans is. Ryan Cowden, this is according to the Titans website, is in his 23rd year in the National Football League, in his 7th year with the Titans. In 2018, he was promoted to Vice President of Player Personnel. He originally joined the franchise in 2016 as the Director of Player Personnel. Before that, he had 16 years with the Carolina Panthers. So just let you know where his wheelhouse is. Now think about that. 16 years with the Carolina Panthers, which means from 2000 all the way to 2014 or 16 or so.
This is some pretty good years.
Yeah, because I'm just going back but that is so important because it lets you know the kind of team and organization that he was involved in building. So that would have been the Ron Rivera years there in Carolina. Those would have been the Cam Newton years there in Carolina. They ran the football. They played incredibly physical during that time.
What year was he there?
2000 till 2000.
Well, that would have been John Fox.
Those would have been some John Fox years.
Those were some successful years.
Yeah.
Sam Mills, and they had some players.
Luke Kuechly.
Yes.
And those types of guys. Probably the outstanding wide receiver, Steve Smith.
Musa Muhammad
was there. And so that's the kind of – now, if you think about who those teams are, how similar are they to what the Tennessee Titans are right now? Philosophically, they're fairly similar in a lot of ways. They don't have as dynamic of skill players as those teams had. The Tennessee Titans don't have anything like Steve Smith or Musa Muhammad at wide receiver. They just don't. I don't know. It's been a long time since they've had a kind of combo like that at wide receiver. Then again, their quarterbacks during those days were a mixed bag of people too. So, I mean, and we're not going to dive deep through Carolina Panthers history here. It's just letting you know the kind of culture that he was raised around before he got here and joined John Robinson's staff and came in with him, it would sound like, in 2016.
The point is, he's been in the league for a long time, okay?
Yeah.
A long time. So if this guy is equipped, Ryan Cowden, to be the next general manager, okay, fine. He's been in the league for a long time. If he's a real candidate and he's enough where he can sit up here and be named the interim, shouldn't he be talking soon?
Well,
don't you think look, if you don't trust him to get out there and talk, then he has no business being the general manager. Okay, he should not be in the mix for the next guy. If you don't trust him to get out there and talk to the media and in public, on the record, for everybody to hear, then he has no business being the next guy. Now, I don't have a clue if he is or he isn't.
I don't know either.
But if he is, shouldn't he be trotted out there, especially in the role right now as the guy in charge?
I mean, if he's not out there, there's a reason why. There's no way where we're sitting here having this conversation and they haven't had it over there. And there's got to be a reason why they've decided that he's not the guy to go out in front of the microphones right now. I will say, looking at all these positions that he's had there with the Carolina Panthers as a scouting assistant, then a scout, then director of college scouting, and this, that, or the other, these are not a lot of positions that require a whole lot of media attention. We don't talk to those guys very often, and certainly they don't talk to, a dozen or so reporters who have a bit of an edge to them because there's a big story going on. So maybe the Titans decided this isn't the time to roll this gentleman out and have him make his media debut in front of the cameras, and they'll just, as David Beauclair said in our first hour, they'll just take the hit for it. I mean, if people are mad, let them be mad. They'll get over it. We got a game Sunday. They'll move on.
Let me tell you this, Justin. This is just my personal opinion. In fact,
yes, sir.
I'll tell you what. Let's do this on the other side. I think this is because I really want to get your take on what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh.
Okay? So
well, that's why I'm here.
I'll just this is my tease. Okay? On the other side. I think franchises and head coaches, franchises and head coaches do a huge disservice. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about when we come back here on the McFarland Show, WNSR.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Where can you save big on Black Friday and go big on the holidays? Lowe's, actually. Find the prices you'll love this season, like $100 savings on a Blackstone 30-inch flat-top grill, now only $299. And your choice of a DeWalt 20-volt max brushless drill kit or impact driver kit for $99. Plus, find gifts exclusively at Lowe's, like a Cobalt 24-volt 500 CFM leaf blower for $99. Black Friday is here. Don't miss the deals at Lowe's. Home to any possibility. Offer valid through 11/30 while supplies last.
Geico presents Daily Affirmations.
Repeat after me. We are filled with an abundance of joy.
We are filled with an abundance of joy.
Also an abundance of questions. Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service to help answer questions and resolve claims quickly.
Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
We are also filled with an abundance of biscuits.
We are also filled with I don't think it works this way.
Oh, and jam. Don't forget jam.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com.
Greg Pogue back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, now also located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Reward yourself for surviving Nashville traffic with fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. And free Wi-Fi, so you don't have to work from home. Number one in customer service. You made it through the traffic. Reward yourself with a perfect pick-me-up at Bongo Java. Fresh coffee, delicious treats, great atmosphere. Open 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily. Bongo Java at the Omni Nashville Hotel.
New Year's Eve in Nashville has a new twist this year.
Touchdown, right up the middle, 45 yards.
The 25th annual Trans Perfect Music City Bowl is Saturday, December 31st at 11 a.m.
Still on his feet, touchdown!
Get your ticket to the biggest party in Nashville as the Iowa Hawkeyes and Kentucky Wildcats square off at Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com. Presented by the Tennessee Lottery.
All right, here's my question. We're having a little fun during the break. Back around the McFarland Show. Darren and Justin here with you on this rainy, crappy, gray Wednesday. But we're going to try to bring a little sunshine into your life. That's what we've tried to do today. I think franchises, organizations, / head coaches do a huge disservice to head coaches, to their staff, and organizations / franchises to people like Ryan Cowden.
In what way?
Okay. You said to me during the break, I don't know anything about Ryan Cowden. You know what? And I said to you, I don't know anything about Ryan Cowden either, other than he's been with the Titans for like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, neither one of us knew he'd been in the NFL for 23 years.
No.
In other words, we didn't know anything about him. The dude's been here for 7 years. We don't know anything about it. Right now, he's in charge. He's the interim GM.
Yeah.
The point is, they don't do. All these guys have aspirations to be the general manager, right? Everybody, whether it's assistant coaches, whether position coaches, they all have aspirations to be a head coach one day. Doesn't mean they're going to be, but they all have aspirations to be it. They'll have to start somewhere, right? Why don't? And we're always talking about why don't people get a fair? Well, how about they help their people out by getting them out there? If we talk to them every once in a while, sometimes we're smart enough to go, hey, that cat's pretty sharp, man. He may be that guy's probably going to be a head coach one day, or that guy's going to be a GM one day. Instead, they hide them. You have no clue what they're about, and then poof, they become general manager and like, okay, I need to Google this guy. Let me find out a little bit about this guy. He was the head of scouting for this team. Oh, he's a player personnel with this team.
John Robinson was the same way.
John Robinson,
he spent years rolling around with the Buccaneers and with the Patriots.
None of us. Yes, I'm going to speak for everybody. None of us had a clue John Robinson was. We all Googled him. Okay, we didn't have a clue. Oh, he worked for the Bucs. Oh, he spent a long time with the Patriots. We didn't have a clue who he was.
No.
Why? You think he ever talked?
Well,
he didn't talk much here, to be honest. So I'm sure he didn't talk at the other stops.
Was he allowed to talk?
Well, that's my point.
Yeah,
that's my point. Have you ever heard of Scott Nickel with the Predators?
No.
Used to be a former Predator player.
I was going to say that name sounds awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now he's the assistant general manager.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I did not know that.
And I know. And I'm not poking fun.
No, it's fine.
I'm just saying.
I know the key guys in the Predators organization that I feel like I need to know, who are Sean Henry and David Poyle, obviously. And, the other key people, and the head coach, obviously. And then, you got your captains, but everybody beneath them are not people that we feel like, and when I say we, the news business, is on a need-to-know basis with these folks. But they're the ones who speak.
Well, they let their assistants talk, their coaches talk. And I know Mike Vrabel's I know his coaches
talk once a week, and the position coaches talk once a week.
They talk. So I'm not taking a shot. So I'm saying I think they all could do a better job. But he's the assistant GM. Well, Preds fans know who he is. I know because he played for him, but they know who he is because you know what they let him talk.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not leading press conferences, but they let him talk. Like, if you're paying attention to the lay of the land of the Preds, he's the assistant GM, he's the director of player personnel, and he's the GM of the Milwaukee Admirals. They let him talk. It's not like they're like, hey, I know you know Scooter. I know he used to play here, but yeah, he's back there. He's working. He's watching film. We're not going to let him talk to you guys. David Boyle's going to talk to you guys. No, they let him talk. And Scott Nickel has every aspirations of being a GM, okay? He's already had people poking around and probably will get his shot one day, okay? I'm just saying, why not let Ryan Cowden talk? If he's equipped to do this, I can't imagine a guy that's been in the league for 23 years, you want to be a GM? Nah, I'm good. I love just doing what I'm doing. I love it, man. I don't want to be a GM. Man, that's not – you don't do – rarely. There are some like that. There are some. I know one.
Sure.
Okay, I know one. And I'm not going to say his name. But
there are coaches like that,
he's
too,
just,
who are
you're right.
very happy.
Yes, and that's fine.
Coaches.
That does not make you a bad person.
Absolutely not.
Doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Not everybody has aspirations to be at the top because the wind blows really hard at the top. So I get it.
Does.
Okay, it comes with a whole lot of pressure, and some people are like, man, I'm out. Man, I'm good. I don't need. Yeah. And they're like, well, it pays. Well, that's fine. You know what? I can live off what I'm getting paid now. My life's just fine, and I don't need all those pressures, and that's fine. To each his own. But I don't know this guy because we're never around him. I don't know anything about him. Why wouldn't he talk? Well, trot him out there. Talk. Why not have him answer some of these questions rather than have Mike Vrabel, sitting up there with a shield and a Wonder Woman bracelet and everything else he was doing to try to deflect these questions.
Wonder Woman bracelet. No, I'm just sorry. That visual cracks me up a little bit. Mike Vrabel with a Wonder Woman
yesterday
bracelet.
It was the Kool-Aid Man. Today,
yeah,
Wonder Woman's bracelet.
The Woman bracelet with Mike Vrabel. Without Vrabel, it doesn't work. Wonder Woman's bracelet doesn't make me chuckle. Mike Vrabel with Wonder Woman's bracelet makes me chuckle. So you got to have both of them together. Here's the thing about it, Darren. There is something that I learned when and again, we're going to go back into our history a little bit. When I was covering sports, I learned quite a bit about media, but then when I got into news, I learned a lot more about media. And what I learned is when I started covering politics, it's a very simple thing, and it's called messaging. And what happens is if you've got members of an organization or a political party or a school system or no matter what it is, and the message is this, and then all of a sudden some other key member of the organization starts saying something slightly different, it creates confusion and a bigger story than they meant to make. All because somebody went a little bit left of whatever their message was.
Of the talking points.
Talking points are great.
The script. They went off script.
And yes, you can call it talking points or script. Really what it is a message. The key is having and delivering a message. And here is a good example of where the Titans got off message this very year. It's already happened with the position coach that said something that he didn't mean to say. When Traylon Burks was having his issues in training camp, and there was speculation about what's going on with him. Does he have an issue? Is there a problem? They asked Mike Vrabel about it. He says Traylon's fine, blah, 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 vague, whatever it is. Then somebody asked Rob Moore, the wide receiver coach. And what did he say?
He was a very good receiver in the league.
Excellent, outstanding receiver for many years with the Arizona Cardinals and with the New York Jets. No question about it. Pro Bowl caliber receiver. He said the young man's got asthma, and, we're dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
What? I saw, if you go back and look for it, Terry McCormick, who's a good friend of the program here, his face when Rob Moore says the young man has asthma spoke to it all because his face changed. He was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, now we know. I don't know for certain. I can't imagine, though, that the organization was thrilled with that knowledge getting out there on the record that their number one pick that they picked to replace A.J. Brown has come in the door with asthma situations.
And it isn't a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
It's not.
But
My
I
son's
understand.
got asthma. It's not a big deal.
I'm not saying
He's played
that's the end of
sports
the
his
world.
whole life.
It's not about whether or not it's a big deal. It's about the message and the messaging and the fact that now they got derailed because they did not want to release those kinds of details about their players.
Let me just back up for just a second.
Sure.
It is a big deal, okay? But it can be handled. That's the way I should have said. It can be handled. Like, it hasn't prevented him from playing sports. I don't want to slough it off
agree.
Hey, it means nothing. No, it's a real symptom, and it's a real
I understood what you were
problem.
saying. And
So
you need to clarify for the audience.
I'm just saying it can be handled, okay? There's ways, he's got an inhaler and all that good stuff. So that's all. I'm not saying it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. No, it's real. I'm just saying it hasn't slowed him down, and I haven't heard of any cases where it stopped. It ended their career. Like, they couldn't handle asthma, right? I haven't heard of that. I mean, if there is, I'm sorry.
But we didn't know. We thought he was out of shape. We thought all this other stuff. And in reality,
it's a real condition. No doubt.
He's got an inhaler, and he's got asthma.
Yep.
And they didn't want to deal with it that way. And Rob Moore decided, you know what? This is now whether or not it was intentional or not intentional. I'm not really sure
he's
either way.
Get off my guy. That's what he's saying.
Absolutely.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing, except for if that's not what your organization wants, the direction they want to go.
So,
and you can't decide that by yourself that this is the direction we're going because I want to protect my guy if that's not what your GM and head coach wants to do.
I know what you said is spot on, and I knew you were going to go there, and that's fine because that is the right way to answer this question, my question, right? But here's what happens when that does happen, and here's what I think happened when what you just talked about happened. Rob, I need you to see in my office real quick. Sure, Coach, sure. I'll be in there in just a minute, okay? Hey, man, hey, Rob, come on in. Come on, shut the door, man. Yeah, have a seat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach, what's up? Mm-hmm. Man, love what you're doing. Man, what do you think about Traylon? Everything good? Yeah, okay. All right, look, hey, man, I know you talk every week to the media, and then you just have the talk. That's it. It's not a harsh talk, and nobody's got to flip any desk. You don't have to pick up a cell phone and slam it against the wall and break it. You just say, hey, man, this is how we're going to handle these type of situations. We choose not to address that through the media. And just have that talk. Like, everybody is capable of, let's say, stepping in it and going off script, or like you said, they have a brand or they have a message. And if somebody doesn't give the exact message they want, which, by the way, happens all the time in sports. It happens in New England. And then every time a player does Bill gets him in a room, he's like, hey, man, as he mumbles, we don't talk about stuff like that in the media. Right? And so it's that. Don't do that again. And then you move on. And if they do it again, then probably that message changes behind the closed doors. But everybody deserves the right to talk. And if they don't say it the way you want them to, you can have that that conversation behind the scenes and try to fix the problem moving forward.
Yeah, but now
you don't shut them down.
You've created.
But why shut them down? Did Rob Moore get shut down this season? No.
No, not to my. I haven't been checking for him, but not to my knowledge. No, he's been out there. But what I'm saying is, you're creating messes that you have to clean up, when in reality you didn't have to have it by just not allowing them to talk. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that from the organization's perspective, this is what they think and this is what they believe. And by the way, they're not the only ones. And I'm not going to derail us too much, but let me just say this: in my other life, there are police and law enforcement organizations that will not allow their regular, ordinary police officer on the scene to tell the reporter what is happening. You have to talk to the commander or whoever the designated person is. No matter what it is, they are not allowed to speak to the media, period. Do you have others with a wide open policy? Sure, just tell them whatever is happening, keep it vague, and just tell it to them. Every single city, every single organization handles it completely different. It's annoying for us to deal with. It's a pain in the neck, quite frankly. Some of these places, and I'm not calling any names, but some of these places, it's tough. However, this is their policy, and they do it to make sure that whatever they say, they've got one message, and one thing they're trying to get out there to the public, and it's an effort to control the message.
Yep, I get that. Good points. All right, we'll come back. We'll do our weekly NFL Top 10. We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, this message is for you. Congress has passed $80 billion in funding to more than double the size of the IRS. 87,000 new IRS employees means more audits, collections, and penalties. This will make the IRS larger than the Pentagon, State Department, FBI, and Border Control combined. Now is the time to call Civic Tax Relief.
I owe the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Their tax resolution specialists can stop the IRS from taking money out of your paycheck.
With Civic Tax Relief, they were able to save me upwards of $80,000 that I would have had to pay.
For your free tax relief information, call now. 800-841-0908. 800-841-0908.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
800-841-0908.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Austin Hardy is your go-to agent in the Middle Tennessee community for the service you desire at the price you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Austin Hardy has you covered. Call 615-810-9999 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on The Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and we've got a full review of Champions Week going on this week from the NASCAR Awards in Nashville, Tennessee. Plus, we've got the most popular driver awards and where is Harvick going to be in 2024? So grab all the latest NASCAR news, driver interviews, stats, and info every single weekday right here.
Hi, I'm Joey Logano, and you're listening to The Final Lap with Kerry Murphy.
Check us out at facebook.com/The Final Lap every single weekday right here.
GPander78 on Twitter sends us a tweet, Justin.
Yeah.
It's Mike Vrabel's head on Wonder Woman's body. Deflecting some things off the bracelet.
Deflecting them bullets.
Yeah, deflecting bullets off the bracelet. Well done.
Funny.
Well done.
And quick work.
Yes. Gave us a good laughter in the break, so thank you for that. All right, it is time for our NFL Top 10, our weekly Top 10. That excites us every week. So, Devlin, can we get some music or some NFL music, you know, to get everybody in the right frame of mind? Because my number one has changed. Your number one has changed.
Yeah. I blew up my list.
My number two has changed. Your number two has changed.
Mm-hmm.
My number three stayed the same. Your number three is different. So, yeah, we got all kinds of different things from just a week. This is why we do it. This is why we do it every week. All right, with that being said, you got it, Devlin? There we go. There we go. I think it's pretty clear. If you had Philadelphia 2 last week after what they did to the Titans, I think it makes sense to move up. Those birds from Philadelphia, those Eagles to number one. Philly, the number one team in the land. They're pretty close to a complete team. I'll give it to them. They really are. They're not perfect.
No.
But they're a pretty darn good team. I said all last week, hey, they're the third best rushing team in the league. Their strength is rushing. And then they came out and said to the Titans, yeah, we can also pass too. We'll throw for 400 on you.
Mm-hmm.
And barely run.
Very good.
Yeah. Last week, I had Philly 2, so they move up to 1. Last week, I had Dallas at 4. Well, I know. It was a little deceiving if you watch the game. They pulled away really late. It got really, really ugly in the fourth quarter. They scored, I think, 5 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. The final score was Dallas 54, Indianapolis 19. So with that being said, also, their defense is very, very good. Is Dan Quinn going to get another bite at the head coaching apple after this?
Yep.
I think so, too.
Yep.
I think he's going to get another chance. And I think especially if Dallas, goes really far.
Mm-hmm.
54-19 over a bad Colts team. Dallas is number 2. They were 4 last week. Minnesota was 3 last week. I keep Minnesota at 3 this week. Not a great – it was a good win. It was a good win.
Yes.
They beat the Jets at home, but not a great – it wasn't a wow win. But they beat the Jets, even though Mike White passed for 375 yards. So with that being said, Minnesota is at number 3. Buffalo was 6 last week. I moved them up 2 spots. Nice win in New England on Thursday night over the Patriots. A convincing win. I've got the Bills at 4. KC goes from 1 to 5. Now, is it a horrible loss in Cincinnati? No, it's not a horrible loss in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's really good.
They are.
As you're about to find out in my top 10 bowl. They're really good. They're a team on the rise. They've lost to Cincy 3 straight times.
Yeah.
That's 3 times in a row the Bengals have clipped the Chiefs. Mahomes never beat Cincinnati.
A lot of confidence.
So Kansas City slides to 5. Cincinnati, I just brought them up. They're at 6. I had them at 7 last week. They move up to 6. I'm telling you, I've been saying for weeks, watch out. They're getting hot at the right time. Oh, by the way, Jamar Chase is back.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon's not even back yet.
No.
They get him back. Yikes.
Yeah.
They're on the move. Cincinnati is number 6. Now, I really struggle with this one. Wow, I just realized you don't even have him in their top 10. Wow.
Who are we talking about?
How is that possible?
Who are we talking about?
I've got San Francisco at number 7.
Oh, yeah, I got an explanation for that.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I get it.
Yeah, you know what it is. You
I
know why.
They're on quarterback 3 right now. They're on quarterback 3. What does that mean? Garoppolo breaks his foot. He was quarterback 2, who's been starting, doing a good job. Now they're on quarterback 3. What does that mean moving forward? I don't know. We're about to find out. But they're pretty darn good. Their defense is really good.
Defense is great.
Defense is really good, although they did give up some points. They did give up a touchdown in the second half against the Dolphins. A touchdown. They've gone 4 straight games without giving up any points in the second half. San Francisco at number 7.
Mm-hmm.
But it is noted. I'm curious. I want to see what they are with quarterback 3 under center. Miami at number 8. They keep doing, they lost to San Francisco at San Francisco. I'm not going to punish them
hard to beat them
too
up
much for that. It's a tough road loss.
It is.
It's a good road loss. Baltimore at number 9, and I just had to put somebody at 10, and I put the Giants. Seattle, the Jets were in the mix, but I put the Giants at 10.
So there is Darren's top 10. I think it's appropriate. I understand about San Francisco and not wanting to put them on deep punishment early on here for the loss of their quarterback. But, that's why you have 2 people giving this list, so you can get a variety of looks and opinions here. So that's where Darren's top 10 is. Here is my top 10 for this week here on December the 7th, 2022. We begin. Number 1, there's no question about the Philadelphia Eagles back at number 1 on my particular list. They showed up and showed out against the Tennessee Titans. It was fly, Eagles, fly. If you're a Titans fan, you were tired of the fight song. It was on all the time. It was a high day in Philadelphia. They're happy. Everybody's dancing. They're having fun, at least for now. And for now, they're number 1 up there in Philadelphia. Congratulations to the Birds. All right, number 2. The Minnesota Vikings are back at number 2 on my list because the Minnesota Vikings continue to play really good football. Now, whether or not it's going to last into January, to me, that's the only question. Whether or not the Minnesota Vikings can keep this going all the way into January. Whoa. They're going to have some home field. Somebody's going to have to go up there to the Dome and beat them. So we'll see if that can happen or not. The history, though, the Minnesota, and I'm going to move on here, but the Minnesota Vikings at some point have got to get the demons out of their stadium, out of the city when it comes to the playoffs and them in that town. There's some history there that isn't good, and they've got to do something about it. Okay. Number 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals are not even leading their own division, but they are number 3 on my list. And that is because they've won 4 games in a row. They have beat some really impressive teams while doing it, and they look at times downright unstoppable. They are playing great football right now. Now, it could be a case where they're just playing their best football at the right time, and they could fade down the stretch. We'll see. But as of right now, they can beat anybody. Cincinnati's Bengals could beat anybody right now, playing the way they are. And that includes my number 4 team, which they just did, the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs coming in at number 4. Still highly dangerous team. But at this point, they got to find a way to deal with Cincinnati and Buffalo. ESPN just put up a great stat that the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody, have lost 5 of their last 6 games against both the Bills and the Bengals combined. Not good, because chances are the AFC is going to run through one of those teams. So we'll see what they can do. But Kansas City this week comes in at number 4. Number 5, the Buffalo Bills. We know what they are. We'll see what they do. They got a huge one coming up here this weekend against the New York Jets. That's going to tell us a lot about both teams. Number 6, the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are an excellent team that continues to play good football. We'll see if they can hold it together. That's the key for the Dolphins. Can they hold the offense together? Can they keep the people healthy as you get into the playoffs? All right, number 7, the Dallas Cowboys. The most questionable team. Now, to me, Darren's got them a little high. Where you got Dallas, Darren?
2.
Man, you got Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys at number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you're living life dangerously up there with them.
The defense is really good.
They're also incredibly inconsistent.
They are.
Historically, especially the later you get into the year.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. But they're number 7 for me, not based on their current situation, but just based on their history at this time of the year. All right, number 8, the Ravens. And, listen, if Lamar Jackson can't go, then they can't go either.
Yep.
Now, to my knowledge, Lamar Jackson is questionable. They're going to try, he's not Jimmy G gone. But, if he can't do the Lamar Jackson thing.
I think I saw he didn't practice today.
Yeah, if Lamar Jackson's going to sit in the pocket and throw, and he can't do the Lamar Jackson thing, then the Ravens become ordinary real fast. So we'll see what happens. Number 9, the New York Jets. I put the New York Jets at number 9 because of the massive game they've got against Buffalo this week. I mean, for them, it's the whole season for them. They got to find a way to beat the Buffalo Bills this week. And so we'll see if they can do it, but it's a big, big game for them. Number 10 is a bit of a shocker, and I'm going to explain myself. And number 10 are your Tennessee Titans. Now, it is true.
Can we come back and can you explain on the other side?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, we got to get to the break. Yeah.
I want to hear this. All right, we'll step away for the final time, come back and wrap up Wednesday's edition of the McFarland Show next.
Are you looking for a trusted partner who knows AT&T business inside and out? ABS Communications is an organization built on the premise that telecom solutions and working with companies like AT&T can often be complicated, and the customer needs someone to help them navigate through these complexities. They make complex simple. Whether it's helping maintain, manage, or secure your business, ABS Communications is here to help with all your business telecom and mobility needs. Their business was built with the goal of simplifying the process of connectivity for the customer and establishing a long-term relationship of trust through transparency and accountability. ABS Communications is a top 5 AT&T authorized agent with over 200 years of AT&T technical experience. You can call Mark and the gang at 615-349-8588, or you can visit their website at abscomm.net. And remember, mention the McFarland Show to ABS, and you could get up to $250 in a Visa gift card for new ABS business customers.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Tired of the same old company holiday party and looking to reward your team with a fun night out? What about something different for a birthday party or group gathering? Hello, this is Philip Cox with Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, and we specialize in group events no matter the size at our Tusculum, Donaldson, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and Hendersonville locations. Plus, Hendersonville and Murfreesboro offer enhanced entertainment options with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. 'Tis the season to have fun with family, friends, and business associates, and there's no better place to do it than at Strike and Spare Family and Fun Center. Visit strikeandspare.com to learn about the group outing option. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know what the Mets stand for?
Metropolitan.
Yeah, that one.
Metropolitan is a flavor of ice cream, right?
Neapolitan.
Oh, okay.
Was that real?
I mean, half and half.
Oh, man. You talk about throwing me off complete. My equator is gone.
The afternoon stretch. The afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Okay, there was no way I was going to let you just, quickly brush over. Because when I saw your list, I was like, I have my readers on.
Yeah.
So I have my extra set of eyeballs on.
Yeah.
And it says Titans. That spells Titans.
Yeah, that's them.
Titans at 10.
They play down the street, yeah.
Interesting. Over the San Francisco 49ers.
That's correct.
Okay.
Because the San Francisco 49ers, and I waffled on it a little while. I thought about it a little bit. The 49ers, we don't know what they got a quarterback. Now, yes, they've got the quarterback Purdy there out of Ohio, Iowa. Who's their quarterback? We don't know anything, but we know the limited sample size we've seen of him, but he hasn't been game planned for yet. So whatever we've seen out of him is just, fresh out the box. And now somebody's had a chance to actually scheme him. So we're going to see what he's really about coming up here. But because of that, because he's completely untested and unproven for me, the 49ers are suspended from my top 10 until further notice, until we get a better idea of who and what they are. The Tennessee Titans, as I mentioned, the formula still works. This football team can still win games. The problem is they haven't been able to do what they want to do. And the Tennessee Titans are best when they can play bully ball. And they have not been able to bully anybody in the last couple of weeks. I think they still have an opportunity to win 10 games this year. They still have an opportunity to host a home playoff game. And because of that, are they number one? No. Can they be number 10, though? Hanging out with the likes of the Seattle Seahawks and the New York Jets and company. And they can be around there. And again, everybody, 14 teams are going to go to the NFL playoffs. We're ranking the top 10. So that means there are 4 other teams that we're not mentioning. They're going to go to the playoffs here. Some of them are going to get home playoff games.
Let me tell you something. Right now, the way Detroit's playing, who knows? They may run the table.
Well, they're not going to win the division. The Vikings are,
But there's going to be a wild card spot. There's going to be spots.
Maybe. I mean, I think I need to take a glance at it. I didn't look at it from the Detroit Lions' perspective of things. Let's see where the Lions are. The Lions are
5-7.
I think they're eliminated. Are they eliminated? No, they're not eliminated.
No, they're not eliminated.
They're 5-7.
Your Chicago Bears are eliminated.
They are eliminated. They've got the big E along with the Houston Texans.
The Rams should be eliminated. I don't know why they're not eliminated. They should be.
The Lions at 5-7 are still behind the Commanders, and you're right. They would need to run the table essentially. But I don't. Seattle and I think the teams in front of them are going to continue to hold on.
Now, I want you just to hold on before you. I get it. It's the Lions. Real quick.
Sure.
They lost to the Eagles 38-35.
Yeah.
They lost to the Vikings in Minnesota 28-24.
Yeah.
They lost to the Seahawks 48-45.
Okay.
They lost to the Dolphins 31-27.
Are we really going to sit in here and talk about close losses of the Detroit Lions like this is a brand new thing for them? Like the Detroit Lions have been losing heartbreaking games for the last umpteen years?
They lost to the Bills 28-25.
I'm not fooled by this.
I'm saying they're 5-7 and they've played all playoff teams and they lose by a field goal.
I am not fooled by close games played by the Detroit Lions franchise. Nor am I fooled.
Well, let me just tell you something. They just beat the Jags 40-14. If the Titans are in the top 10, they better beat down Jacksonville on Sunday.
We'll see.
Because the Lions just beat them 40-14.
I'm just saying, I'm not fooled by the inconsistency, and the only thing that is consistent is the Detroit Lions continue to lose football games, and even close football games. So we'll see.
Okay. What's consistent is the Titans have beaten bad teams and lost to all the good teams.
That would mean they would win this week.
That's true. That is true. That'll do it for our show today. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We look forward to talking tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Stay tuned. Afternoon Stretch next.